Join us now for the City of Dillon Council meeting, brought to you by Hometown TV, serving Dillon and Marion counties.
Approval of the minutes for April 12th, regular meeting.
I make a motion.
Second. Second. All those in favor? All right. Glenn, I'll turn it over to you.
Since we've had a general election and the votes are all three have been completed, it is by law that you have to elect a mayor pro tem at that time for the ensuing 2 years. So at this point in time, we'll open the floor for any nominations of mayor pro tem.
I nominate Dr. Watson again.
I second it. Any more nominations? No further nominations, floor closed. And you have to vote on that nomination. All in favor of Dr. Wallace serving as the mayor pro tem for the next 2 years, show of hands. Any opposed? You get the vote?
Well, I don't know that
You good?
I'm glad to do it.
All right.
Well, thank you. I thought it was a bit presumptuous to prepare a mayor pro tem report, but I will give you some idea, a little bit of what I've been doing. Spoke at the Lions Club about 2 or 3 weeks ago and had a good response. We really have the city's running well, and I'm not taking credit for it. We've got a great council, but we're in a pretty good place. We've got some issues, we've got some growth issues, and some things we need to do, but financially, I think we're in a pretty good place to fulfill those obligations to our citizens. I spoke briefly at the Downtown Festival, which I was pleasantly surprised at the turnout of that. I had some things that I had to tend to out of town that day, and I couldn't stay very long, but I understand that more people, we had bad weather, there was just a lot of issues there, but it turned out okay. We didn't see a big spike in COVID. COVID numbers look good right now. I don't know what percentage of people we have in Dillon that are vaccinated, but I know probably 70–80% of the people I speak to in my office have been vaccinated. So we're seeing anywhere from 0 to 2 cases a day, and we're still holding at 77 deaths. That percentage is probably within reason. We're a low socioeconomic area. We're an area that has a lot of elderly people. So our percentage of death on that is probably going to be a little bit higher. Also spoke at the hospital at the Nurses Appreciation. Spoke to them on last Thursday. It was Nurse Appreciation Week, and I didn't know whether they wanted me to speak to them as Mayor Pro Tem or as just the oldest doctor at the hospital, and I had to ask that when I gave my talk. But anyway, trying to do my best to represent the city, and I'm doing that. Glenn?
I would just follow up with comment COVID. Since January, I think, or the 1st of February, we've been hosting a site for vaccines, either through DHEC or through McLeod here locally. I don't know when McLeod's got any more scheduled out here off the top of my head, but I do know that DHEC is scheduled to be out here either this week or next week, and then at least 2 more times in June. One of those in June is going to be an afternoon evening type deal, see if they can attract more people. The last one DHEC had here last week It was a small turnout,
Yeah.
very small.
Well, they're showing up in other areas, you know, I mean, they're showing up in drugstores, I mean, my office has it.
It is integrated a lot now, that is true. That is the schedule there. And I
And that's a good sign.
Yeah.
That fewer are showing up.
And most of what we've seen with people when they're here, it's mostly out of town. Compared to when McLeod does it, it's more of a local flavor of people that show up and out. But I'm assuming Betsy's got those dates also, so she'll run to the paper and we try to put it on our Facebook page. Following up with the festival, the weather was not the best, probably the worst one we've ever had that I've been associated with. But we had a good turnout of people, vendors, from the vendors' point of view. Wasn't as many as they had hoped for, which we had cut some due to COVID, but with winds and the forecast of rain that day, some of those folks didn't show up. There were 2 or 3 vendors that stayed busy from the time they got there until we had to run them off that night. Turkey legs and funnel cakes are big sellers. When we go into business, those are 2 things that you can sell that people will line up. It doesn't matter what the weather is. They were lined up for turkey legs and funnel cakes. But I think everyone had a great time. The band that we had, we moved them out to the wellness center and had a good crowd. Probably about 200 people, give or take, during that time. I see that Red and Stephanie's here. They can speak on this on the citizens report, but they had their first event Friday night. I think it's called the First Friday event. They had a good turnout for theirs, so the weather wasn't bad. It's a good thing that they did. Last month, we talked about I spoke about the American Rescue Plan, and that's the money that feds are going to give to states in turn to those Washington counties and municipalities within their state. And I misspoke last week. I said it was based on 75% of your previous budget in the previous year. That's not correct. The funds are based on population. However, the funds cannot total no more than 75% of what your budget was prior to that pandemic. So that's, I think ours is 2.36 or $2.63 million we're supposed to get. Supposedly sometime this month, not all at one time, but I think 50% of that is due to come in this month. I just got an update prior to the meeting through the American Rescue Plan, through the feds. They're doing some things today and putting out more information, but there's still no information that gives us what this money can be used for. So they're still working through that process. It's still being based that all money that you receive must be spent before the end of December 2024. So I don't know that you can bank money that we talked about.
Yeah.
But again, from what I'm reading, there's none of this is written in stone.
Right.
That's what they put out at the beginning. So I foresee some things to change. How much, I'm not sure. 3 of the things that we talked about or I mentioned last month was infrastructure, which could be water, sewer, possible stormwater, and internet in rural areas. So those are some of the big target items. And then you've got items where the state or municipalities or counties can give some funds to local hospitals or things of that nature that had to deal with the pandemic where they may have lost money or things like that. So there's still a lot of things out there to work with. Budget-wise, Janet and I have started on it, or she started her portion, because I need numbers from her. I have tentatively written down Monday, May 24th and Thursday, May 27th to have a budget workshop.
Say, Monday.
May 24th, which will be 2 weeks from today, and then that following Thursday, which will be the 27th.
You'll remind us of that one.
Yeah, we'll send something out. we'll send that information out for you.
Can you have the department heads attend the
Yes,
workshop?
yeah, we'll do like we've done in the previous years, they'll be here. And if, what I hope for is on Monday, the 24th, to get the general fund side, and then that Thursday, the 27th, will be more than sewer, so we won't stay here for the rest. I think last year we spent anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours on that first night, on this one of your general fund. So that'll be those days for that. And then I think Tina put on your table there, if you're interested in going to the Municipal Association meeting, which is scheduled for July 22nd and 24th in Hilton Head, let her know so she can have it all the information no later than May 18th. So the meeting is July 22nd through 24th in Hilton Head. She needs to know if you plan to go no later than May 18th. So if you can let her know, that'd be great. That's all I have at this point.
General fund, our total cash account is $2,123,178. Our revenues to date, $4,550,858. We brought in $716,439 more in 21 than we did in 20. I look back in the local auction money, a lot of people must be where they were buying and stuff like that, online and whatever, shopping, because we got a lot more local auction money than we had in the past.
So that was what that difference was.
A lot of that was difference in business license, was that,
We had that late transfer, and I know I bring that up here, but, we had the transfer that made us look like we had a deficit in 19, and it came
Right.
in.
but still, we get a lot more in
Yeah.
than, I went back and looked at it to see, so. And then our expenses for year-to-date, our expenses is $4,898,362. It's $218,572 more in 2020 than in 21 that we spent. Our water and sewer, our total,
Fiscal year today, correct?
yes, that's correct, fiscal year to date. Everything we operate on is fiscal year. Okay. Water and sewer, our total restricted and non-restricted accounts, a total of $3,795,041. Our year-to-date, fiscal year-to-date revenues is $3,437,325. A difference of $23,377 more that we brought in 21 than we did in 20.
That was a move, weren't we negative last week?
And then our expenses, year-to-date, fiscal year-to-date, $2,975,688. Last year, I'll tell you, our fiscal year-to-date was $3,087,751, which is $112,063 more in 2020 than in 21 on the expenses. Stormwater, our cash account's $54,980. Our year-to-date fiscal is $120,756. Last year fiscal date was $116,820, which we brought in $3,936 more dollars this year than we did last year on the fiscal year date. The fiscal year date expenses is $227,309 on our current fiscal year to date. Last year fiscal year to date was $101,489, a difference of $125,820, but a majority of that is $93,640, which is that FEMA hazard mitigation fees study that they're doing that we will get reimbursed. So that's what that is.
And when we get reimbursed, that's after it's completed?
After it's completed.
Right now, technically, what do we get a household on that? $4?
$4 per household, everything else is $5.
Okay. What does that generate?
About 100
$48,000.
we budgeted this year, we're in 138. We collected 80, almost 86%, so about 11,701.
So we're, we've got 2 employees.
Yeah. Our expenses, 2 employees, the back of the truck, and right now the engineering cost for that stuff.
When is the back of the pay?
Yeah,
One more year.
One
Yeah.
more year?
One more?
Yeah.
One
for-
payment.
For the back of the truck, yeah. That will take place in 21, 22, right?
I believe it's in October when it's due.
Was that used?
Yes.
Yeah. Put that out of Myrtle Beach.
Horry County.
The golf course, our cash account's $43,152. Our fiscal year-to-date revenues is $211,290. Last year fiscal year-to-date was $154,013, which we brought in $57,277 more in '21 than we did in '20. And we've transferred only $75,000 fiscal year-to-date versus last year fiscal date was $120,000. So we're $45,000 more transferred in 2020. Our expenses fiscal year-to-date is $382,124. Last year fiscal date was $306,428, a difference of $75,696 more in '21 than in 2020. And that's due to mowers and other equipment and capital purchase of labor and plants.
That pump was what, about 40,000? What was that, Bert? That pump?
So we actually had 2 problems. We had a pump for the pond and one for irrigation, so it was about 30,000.
Each?
No,
Total?
the one about 17, I think one was about 14.
Our special revenue is 2% hospitality fund. We've got $1,050,877 in the account. Our revenue fiscal year to date, $541,061. Last year fiscal year to date was $497,949. We brought in a difference of $43,112 more in '21 than we did in '20. And we had April, I think, was our biggest month. We look back and see, a lot of people had a lot more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
$65,000.
That we had.
Usually about $55,000.
Well, all I see is that beach is going to be popping with something. It is going to be big. So,
That's all I have.
the only concern about, you got all this stimulus money going out right now, and I don't want to be too, carefree about depending on that much income every year, because I think that if the stimulus money stops coming, and that, because local option sales tax money is still going back down, and probably when you do your budget, you ought to look at keeping them around what it was.
Well, what we do is, we go back and look at the last 5 years.
Okay.
Take those.
Because I just don't think that's going to continue to happen, but I think that the beach is going to be big, and I bet, any word on Zaxby's?
No, sir, we're still waiting for them to apply for building permits. We talked to some of their contractors and subcontractors, but we hadn't spoken to the general contractor that would do the renovations yet.
They submitted their plans, right?
Not for the general contractors,
What do they submit?
sign plans and things of that nature.
All right, citizens report. Yes, sir. Doc?
How y'all doing?
Good. I
I come to try to get some help on some trash pickup. I'm having a terrible problem. You know, I spend $385,000 on property taxes, but I have to take all the furniture and all the clothes and all the trash that people leave, and I have to, instead of putting it on the streets, I put it on the trucks and take it out to the landfill, or don't load up the streets. And, you know, they charging me there, and I've talked to Glenn, and he tried to help me in any way he can. But what I'm seeing is they pick up on like a Tuesday here in Dillon, and some of the areas are different days. And if we put that trash out there, I don't know how anybody would like to walk outside their house and see that trash all loaded up in the, right out there beside where they live at. And it's really, really bad looking on the city of Dillon.
Where is this?
That's something else.
Oh, that's something else. Where are you trash there?
It's all over the place. It's in all the areas whatsoever. So we took a dumpster that we tried to get one from the city, and they have all their dumpsters out. We had to get one from the county, put it behind a general building, and try to start loading up. And everybody started putting trash there whatsoever. You know, we working on that and trying to clean that up, and that's a mess. But all the areas, they putting out furniture, you know, the stimulus package, and they buy furniture and stuff like that. They put out the old furniture when people leave, and you wouldn't believe what they leave in the houses. They leave their clothes, they leave furniture, their dishes, and we gotta have somewhere to put that there. So instead of loading it up on the streets and waiting for the city to come pick it up, the couches and the chairs, we basically are taking it to the landfill, but they charging us left and right on that. And we feel like we pay enough on property taxes, and we just don't want to bring our darn city down and look like, you know, that trash has got to sit beside the road for a whole week before somebody picks it up. And that means if there's a storm comes or wind comes, it blows it all over the place. It looks like, you know, looks really terrible in all areas. And that's just, and I think some of the councilmen have seen some of this stuff here all over the town, and it really needs to be addressed. And I don't mind doing I've been doing it for 38 years, and I've been trying to keep it clean and make a difference in Dillon. But I need a little help. I don't usually get help. I try to, but now I'm asking for it because I feel like I pay a lot in property taxes, and I should be able to get something out of that. And, you know, we have an apartment complex that has 32 apartments. They give us one dumpster there, you know what I mean? And then when the people come and they put the trash there, it's all over underneath it. When they take the dumpsters out, there's trash all underneath the dumpsters. We had them to move it the other day and move it periodically. We got 32 bags of trash up underneath where the dumpster just sat on top of it. It's just ain't a good way of doing it.
that?
Sir?
We dump that, Tom?
Yes, sir. And then over in Deerfield at Rosewood.
There's actually two dumpsters there.
Sorry?
There's two dumpsters there.
Is it?
And we can clean it up ourselves. We work to try to bring it up. But we're gonna end up with three out there. Right. So we're just waiting on something to get fixed right now.
Well,
How in particular?
Twice a week.
Well, some of the problems that I've noticed, and I've talked to some of the residents in Deerfield, there's people going in there from the whole county and wherever, and they're going and dumping it where that stuff is. They just take their whole house, and just like you see in this picture right here, they're going and dumping everything from everywhere in the whole county. And then they expect people like him and others to remove this stuff. And I understand it's just not him, it's other people too. I've had calls, and I like, I mean, whatever we can do to clean this city up. I mean, I can't do much with the county, but it seems like all the trash from the county now, since they started putting pressure on into the county, is coming into the city. And I think we're gonna get the raft of it in the end. Because I know that I think Hoghead is buckling down on them in the county. And they put cameras up in the trees, and they're catching these individuals doing the same thing out in the county. So, I guess they take it to court. They run on a fine, take it to court. But the point is, y'all, if you stopped it in the county, this comes to us. This right here. I mean, we can't stop it.
we just don't know what to do. It's really out of control. And I mean, it's to furniture, the couches, I mean, clothing, it's just everything. And then it's just so much volume, and we have so much out there, we just don't know what to do. We just don't want to wait And say, for instance, like, they come pick it up today, they have a truck that goes around, and they go pick it up, and if you don't get it there, we don't know what day we're gonna be, somebody's gonna be moving, but if we go, after they go pick it up, it sits there a whole week. Even if they come out and pick it up the next week, which, you know, I believe the city's doing a great job. Bert does, I can call Bert up anytime, and he'll help me in any way whatsoever, and I can call Glenn at any given time, and he tries to help me whatever he can do also, but they just limited on what they can do, so, you know, I was told to come here and talk to y'all and see what we can do, you know, I'm just asking for help. It's really out of control, there's trash everywhere, and we've been picking it up, and we don't mind picking it up, we don't mind taking it and hauling it, keeping it clean, breaking it up, we don't, but we just don't want to get charged.
I mean, when we go, that's part of their fee
No,
to, at the dump. When we,
that's the question, that's
when
where.
we take our stuff that we, you know, we dump in our, we do their dumpster, we dump it.
Now,
in
this ain't
our
dumpster stuff, this is totally different.
I thought this was around your dumpster.
No.
That was just a couple of areas off. But all the residential's that way also. All the residential homes they have trash unbelievable there. It's just unbelievable.
This is where we are. Alan had called me a couple of months or so ago about having an issue about having to pay. And he says, you know, we have rental houses, people move out, they leave me this, and this. I said, well, Alan, if they leave you a couch, put it by the road, call us, we'll come by and pick it up. If they leave you a mattress, put it by the road, call us, we'll come pick it up. But when this picture that you got in front of you is what was brought to my attention Friday morning or Friday afternoon, that is not just couches and a mattress, there's all kinds of stuff in here. And if we're gonna pick this up, I don't pick this up at my house or your house, you know what I'm saying, residential. We don't do that. It's got to be in a can.
Well, for one thing, if you pick this up, you have to haul it as mixed trash. So when you haul it as mixed trash, you're paying double the rate. You're paying, going from $28 a ton to $53. So when we clean up on the streets, the trash has to be separated. Because if not, we'll have to dump on the hill at the landfill and pay the double rate. That's why they don't set mixed trash.
And we can separate it. We have no problem with that. But again, separating it is in the side of the street there. It's all beside the street. It really looks great when you drive by there. You know, you should see it. This is a volume. They don't leave little stuff, it's volume. And so we can blend it. What that picture shows there is no indication of what's happening actually. That's another whole different thing, that we were taking it there and other people trying to take advantage. But what's really happening is just it's regular household, it's couches. And I know Glenn has to throw his couch outside and somebody's going to have to, or he's going to have to get somebody to pick it up. We need the same help also with couches. We need some help with their clothing that they leave out there. And just, I'm talking about bags and trash. So Glenn said, well, put it in the can. Well, it won't fit in the can. It ain't gonna fit, there's too much volume. I mean, what do we do?
Well,
it ain't gonna fit in the can.
Now, the issue is, again, couches, mattresses, things of that nature, we can handle. Have no problem picking that up. But I can't schedule somebody to be with you on a daily basis when somebody moves out. That's, you know.
Yeah,
you
I understand that.
And then I can't, somebody tears out a wall or things of that nature, that is your rental property is a business.
We're not tearing out walls.
I
We
see
do
where I
dumpsters when we do that. We ask for a dumpster when we do construction, and we pay for that separately. We don't want that to be a cost. We feel like that's construction. We want to go ahead and do that. I'm just talking about trash itself, the trash that they leave and generate. I mean, it's a lot. It really is. It's a lot, and it costs.
All right, so when you take it to the landfill,
Yes, sir.
then you have to pay them.
Have to pay them. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, let me ask you this. You said you paid $381,000 in property taxes?
Yes, sir.
How much of that is county tax?
Well, I don't know. I really don't know, but we pay city on.
What do you pay the city then?
280 some thousand.
280?
You make a lot of money off of me, and don't wanna help me.
Well,
They wanna take my money and don't wanna help me. I don't know what
My
to do.
thing is the county charging the same that they charge the city for a ton?
If it's not mixed, yeah, I mean, they're gonna charge the same, if you take something, they can change, charge the same thing. Limbs and leaves is $50 a ton or 29? 28.
verify that.
Everything else is 50 something, $53.
No. Now, where we have our dumpsters, and I'm sure we have an inventory of them, where they're sitting.
Yes.
Now, if someone brings it to that area, can they put it in at no cost?
You know, what dumpster do you kind of, wait a second, what kind of dumpster do you?
I'm just saying, if we have a
Household
area, like a lot, and that dumpster side.
No, we don't have that.
Okay.
We don't have that. Because again, you're gonna have people from outside the city dumping man. You can have.
Well, see, the problem with it,
I don't think we're not gonna.
It's so much as my property tax, county tax.
the problem is, Glenn, when they see a pallet, debris,
I told you you're wrong, too.
every time we have a pile of debris on the side of the road, people see it. They go home and get their debris and they come back and head it.
Not disputing,
I know.
not disputing. The thing that, you know, for y'all, I mean, it's your policy, not a Lynn's policy, is we only pick up limbs and leaves on the side of the road. We will pick up couches, we will pick up beds, we'll pick up a refrigerator if you call us and let us know you're putting it out there, because we don't want those out there for more than a day's time. We don't pick up everything X out of houses. They put it in a roll cart, bring their car, they take it somewhere and sell it. We don't pick that up off the side of the road.
And let me tell you something, if you go to Myrtle Beach, you can't put your clippings out there, you know?
Well, Myrtle Beach has, we do have a couple properties there, and they do dock pick up that, but they, Johnny on the spot, they have a team.
How do you get yours done at the beach?
They just pick it up. I'm in North Myrtle Beach there. They pick it up. Yes, we down there, Chick's Wheel, they pick it up and all kinds of stuff. Every time I put it down there, they have no problem.
You call them?
No, sir, they come by every Tuesday. They come by with their truck every Tuesday, but they have a team where they have a truck that rides through every area and whatsoever.
They get your grass clippings and
They get your grass, they get your limbs, they get your everything. That's part of it. They don't play. It's just like that.
refrigerator out there?
They, whatever you want to put out there, they pick it up. They don't, they have yet.
Not been my experience.
Well, it's there, but I can give you some pictures. I reckon I can get some up for you, but they've unloaded a lot of stuff. I just remodeled a house there. Man, I put some stuff there and they picked it right up for me. Johnny on the spot. They really did. But here, you know, all we ask, we're not asking for, they do a good job with the leaves and the limbs and stuff like that. They do good.
Yeah.
We're just asking, do y'all want the debris on the road? I mean, do you want it beside the road to make our town look bad, or what we want to do here? Just need some type of
Guidance on that.
Yes, sir. It just looks terrible when we work so hard to get, you know, to a different level, and we had a whole different world now. We're trying to keep the city looking good. Looks terrible to leave anything beside the road for a whole week, waiting for that next Tuesday to come, and all that stuff is beside the road all over the town. It just don't look good.
Why don't y'all come back with some options? And I'd like to have some verification of exactly, you know, and this is really, I mean, you know, some verification of what those taxes are and whether that, you know, liability should be placed on us or the county. You know, should they be doing a little bit more for them? It's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of money to pay in taxes.
Let me ask you this question. If I had a dumpster, want something similar to this, available down at Bert's shop, you take it there?
Yes, sir.
You'll take it to that dumpster?
I sure would. I take it to that dumpster.
I can do that. That's a good. But now whatever the tonnage is your call. That agree?
Well, if that was construction or that on household items.
Well, I mean, if it's mixed, you know.
Well, if I just keep it unmixed, I mean, we always pay for our construction. We never ask for any help to get rid of any construction whatsoever. We just asking for what the residential, what everybody else gets in the whole town. Is we just asking for, when they have trash, if everybody gets their trash picked up, we asking for the same thing. That the houses are in the town, we asking for the same service that everybody in this room gets in the city. That's what we asking for, nothing else.
Okay. Let's get to a solution.
But you're saying you're willing to tow the car.
I'm not, I'm willing to take it and not put it beside the road for it to blow and be like a disaster, but
But
Glenn,
if you'll bring it to me, why not take it to landfill?
I will, I care to the landfill. I have no problem here, I just don't want to get charged for it. Yeah. I just don't want to get charged.
That's what the, that.
That's what we're here for.
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 How many times a month, how many times a month does this happen as far as somebody moving out? Is it?
We does it all depends.
What's your monthly cost out?
Yeah, I would say if we kept up with it monthly or something like that, it might would be $500, $600, $700. It wouldn't be nothing major. It's just that when you let it go, you know, whatsoever, and that's when it adds up. But I think if you did it monthly, it would definitely be $500, $600, $700 in that range or under that. It would, it all depends. You never know when somebody's going to move. And I'm telling you, when they leave, they leave.
So your biggest problem, you guys, is you're saying if it stays over a long period of time, it blows all down the road and people
I don't think that's the problem.
Well, they're calling him upset,
Well,
and then he has to go get it put
But I
back.
think the problem is cost.
Well, the problem with a couple of things, Glenn. One of them is, I don't like to see stuff all over the place, and I have neighbors that's in the area call me up and say, man, that stuff's all over the place. I said, call the city and see what they say. And another thing is, I don't want to bear the cost that everybody else residentially gets this service here. It's just, I can't get it because I reckon that I don't get no cut, no taxes or anything like that. But I can't get it because I rent these houses out, and I
But
pay
you're
the same
saying,
property
look,
tax.
now, practically what you're saying is, the person's stuff,
It's not my stuff.
it's not your stuff.
That's right.
Like, I put it out there, and I didn't take care of my stuff, and then I got my car and I leave it.
No, he's taking it out of the house, they leaving it in the house.
Yeah, they leave it in the house, and when they leave,
But it's their stuff.
it's their stuff, not my stuff.
Let us discuss it, Alan, and come back with something, because my dad had some rental properties back in the day, and when people would move out, it would be 20 to 30 gallon bags of just stuff that should have went in the roll-out cart over the past 3 months.
Yes,
Or
exactly.
4 months that didn't. And I kind of know exactly what he's talking about, and I mean, they just leave, you name it, you find it, just stored, I mean, it's just, I know exactly where he's coming from.
Because you are right on top of it, so that happens, that we just don't want to go take this stuff here and then put it beside the road. It looks terrible. The neighbors don't want to see it. Y'all wouldn't want to see it when you walk out. I wouldn't want to see it. It's just really, and it's not all the time. It's not like this happens every day or this happens all the darn time. It's just periodically, and sometimes it's worse than others. And if it's small amounts, we don't mind handling it. It's just after a while, man, you get tired of, you taking it and getting charged and you're not getting any, you're paying full taxes and everybody else is getting the service. But it seems like because I own this residential, I can't get the service that everybody else is paying for.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
So when somebody rents a property from you, do they have to pay a deposit?
But a lot of times they can't afford a deposit. We ask them for a deposit if they can, but they can't afford it a lot of times. They can't come up with $800. If you rent it out for $400, they can't come up with $800. They can't do that. So, wish they could, but with Dillon, they can't afford it.
So going forward, get 32 units, give you another trash can out there with a leak in it, put trash all over the ground and everything.
And Mr. Johnny, I could have been wrong, Bert was exactly right. We do have 2 dumpsters there. Been already in these talking about making a third. It's a major problem when you got 32 units there and you only have the 2 dumpsters and 32 families right there. I mean, these are families too, and they throw that stuff all over the place. We have the same problem at Rosewood, and I think Mr. Washington's seen that himself over there, where they only had 2 dumpsters there for 43 apartments. And man, it's just a mess. gotta be a better plan to try to get it cleaned up and get it organized for it to look good on the city and work smoothly instead of chaotic.
We can, that's simple. That one's simple, whether we put another can or pick you up more than once or twice a week, we can do that, but that's a cost, if you realize that.
Is it a cost to me again?
Yes. Yes.
Why does it always cost me?
So, it's a cost. I mean, that's just.
But we get 43.
If you have, I charge each resident, or we charge each resident with a rollout car.
That's 43, so what would you charge a regular?
Whatever the rates are.
Well, what would you charge a regular residence of a house? What would you charge them taxes on?
It's $25 for a roll call.
Okay,
They
25,
get picked up one time a week.
and then you get them for water and sewer.
That's totally different.
Yeah, so 25 times 43, God, that's a good profit we make in there. I mean, that's just no thing fair.
But, I mean, that's.
And you want to pay more?
That's something council would change, but
If you go 25 times 43,
How much are you paying now for those two, cans?
Doc, I really don't know. I don't know what we do. Lynn, you know what we?
no, I have no idea. I don't know what size you have.
32 residents, he's paying $25 a resident, or whatever that might be, like $1,200.
So I pay $1,200, I pay $1,200 for them dumpsters. I'm not home.
You pay as per resident, not for the can?
Yeah, per key, which is 32 apartments, they're being charged $25 a month.
$800.
Yeah,
Where
per,
are you getting 25?
well, whatever roll card is, that's
But
what
they don't have roll call.
I know.
The cans are separate.
But they're being charged for roll call.
But what he's trying to say, Glenn, is that, apartment complexes, if you got 43, we charge them a residential roll card per unit.
Who pays the water and sewer bill?
I
The resident.
couldn't say who pays, who pays it.
Do you?
You pay it, or the customers pay it. On your-
Yeah, here,
It's on their water.
no, here, the customer pays.
Customers.
So
Customers
actually,
paying, Al's not paying.
so actually, the cost for, the customers pay it.
Just like you pay for your trash.
They pay
For
it.
43 over at Rosewood, Big Al's paying for it. You know what I mean?
And then you
That's
get
fine.
charged, then you paying for a dumpster.
I'm getting charged for water and sewer for every single one.
But you're talking two different, you're talking apples and oranges now.
Okay?
I would
We're
charge
on apple or oranges.
I mean, we're not talking water and sewer, we're talking about the same tax.
So I get charged for 43 units there.
So what about the difference?
You get in free water, you pay their water too?
I pay the water. I pay water.
You include their water and sewer and trash in their bill.
I pay for water, I pay for their water, sewer, and their trash. I pay for all 43 of them.
So what about the deal with?
Deerwood, we, they call Deerfield, but, well, they pay for that, they pay for the there. But I'm paying all that for the trash, I mean, it's a mess, I wish y'all could ride out there, it'd be worth
I got
riding.
pictures of it.
You think it's pretty bad, bro? It's beyond that, just asking for help, get organization.
Y'all get together with them, I don't think there's gonna be something we're gonna
You
resolve.
can iron that out tonight.
Huh?
You can iron this out tonight.
We'll look at that.
Thanks. Well, thank y'all, I didn't mean to bother
You're
y'all.
good, you're good, you did what I asked you to do. You showed it.
I love you, Glenn.
Somebody did, put it on.
I love you, Glenn, he's a good guy, he tries to help me, I promise, he does, thank y'all.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, city council members. Mayor Pro Tem, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you as your VA, right now a volunteer, and I have been since 2007 under Jerry Huggins, and I continue to work and work hard, as Mr. J. David can tell you. I stand before you with several requests for our veterans, not for me, but for our veterans. Our veterans are being pushed to the side. They are not being treated with respect as they need to be. Right now, and I'm looking at Dr. Fox because he sees a lot of our veterans. As a VA volunteer, it is not a 9-to-5 job, it is a 24/7 job. And I try to do it to the best of my ability because my father is a veteran. He was in for 10 years, and I do it because he is. My mom, Johnny Snyder, pushes me to be the best person that I can be. I'm not gonna do that. Since 2007, when I joined under Jerry Huggins, I've been doing the following jobs. Dillon County Deceased Veterans List. To date, from May of 2020 up to date of today, we have 83 deceased veterans on that list for Judge Lockme to read on Memorial Day. On a day-to-day basis, I'm confronted by families of veterans, some having shredded charts before their time has even come. And hopefully, if I can get some standing, I'll be able to continue putting those charts back together again. Some I've already put back together. We need more attendance at these military ceremonies, not only from our military families, but from council members, doctors, lawyers, judges, attending me sometimes on a monthly basis, but now it's on a daily basis. Thanks to Benny Cooper, who is live streaming our veteran funerals, I'm able, through Home Vision, I'm able to live stream those, and I'm able to report on those from a day-to-day basis. I'm feeding one of our veterans who wants to remain nameless almost on a monthly basis. Council, I am asking you, I am begging you, with our military ceremonies, these veterans are not getting what they need as far as protein and as far as food and snacks are considered. I'm asking council for a small amount of money to allow me to be able to purchase some snacks for them either before or after these military ceremonies happen. Right now, we are left with 57 veterans alive in this county that I know of. And I've talked to all of our funeral homes. My job consists of funeral home daily paperwork pickup through computer, through printer. Fortunately, I've been blessed to have my mother who continues to pay for ink with her printer. Me with the paperwork, I have all my paperwork in line ready to hand to you tonight. I'm also the young woman who makes the red, white, blue flag bracelets. Up to date of today, I've put anywhere from 20 to 40,000 of those flag bracelets into all military hands. And I still continue to do that on a day-to-day basis, wherever I go, or whatever mail-outs need to be done. Again, I am begging council to take this under their wing, under your wing, and to give our veterans the utmost respect and service that they deserve. A lot of them are coming back from Vietnam not having been thanked. A lot of them are coming back from service from Afghanistan, Iraq, having not been thanked, gone home from an airplane to family without any kind of celebrations. Council, I am begging you to take this under your wing, as hard as it might be. I have a listing of all military funeral websites that I look at. I have a whole listing of funeral home websites that I go through every single day to make sure that I am not leaving any fallen Dillon County veteran behind, and the judge has this list for Memorial Day to be read. It's a big job. I honor it. I take it under my wing. Mr. Huggins is as critically ill as he is still taking me under his wing and servicing me as well. Closing out, veteran files are being recreated to date with some help that I have. Council, I need your help with the following issues. We need to have more U.S. flags available to our fallen veterans. We need to have a way of getting more U.S. medals into their families' hands in an easier and faster option. Number 3, we need to have an appropriate time for burials and for utmost respect of our veterans. 4, headstones need to be looked at, cleaned at an appropriate time, and flags placed there before each and every military ceremony takes place. Military funeral home contacts and funeral home contacts are all contacted by me on a daily basis. Council, I'm begging you to take this under your wing and look at it. I'm not asking for much, but it would be appreciated to have either snacks and or something small for them at each and every military ceremony that we have in Dillon, and I know that there are only two, Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and we're coming up on Memorial Day. As I said in the opening, we now have 83 fallen on the Dillon County deceased list. I am begging each and every one of you council members to take this under your wing. Dr. Wallace, I would like to be able to further contact you in a more recent time frame, maybe on a weekly time frame basis, to keep you updated. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Huggins is behind me, as critically ill as he is. The funeral homes are begging for help. I try to be there when they need me to be. And I thank Mr. J. David for allowing me this opportunity. And I would beg you to vote on snacks and things for our veterans for these ceremonies.
Any comments?
I do, Kim,
Yes,
Any
in the
idea
previous
what that
years,
costs?
well, in the previous years, I know that the city paid for the breakfast for the veterans. prior
right, we
to-
could not have the breakfast because of COVID-19.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying previous years, the
Right.
city paid that for the breakfast for the veterans.
Well, we would still like to, we only had a small amount of snacks last year, and that's why I'm asking for a little bit more, because we ran out before the ceremony even ended. It was a very small amount, very small.
But are you planning to have the breakfast this year?
I have not been contacted as of that, I've been told no as far as because of COVID-19.
So just, well, we spent money each year for the breakfast prior to either Memorial Day or later, I mean,
Or better, so.
we've always done that over the years, so.
Any, gone to any local businesses and asked?
I've tried and they've all turned me down as far as everything is concerned. I know Mrs. One Stop did it last year.
Did what?
The snacks for our veterans, I know that she did it last year.
Any idea what that cost is?
They told me around like $50, $60, somewhere around in there. Crackers, sodas, water, that's usually what we put on those tables every year. Can you contact me?
So all you're asking for is money to provide food prior to the event, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, sir.
Is there another group involved in that?
No, it'll be just myself.
Is there a place that citizens wanted to donate that they could make a donation?
Usually they would take it to the VA office, but a lot of times that office is closed.
So if we had citizens wanting to donate, where could we have them mail a check to, or how would they make it out?
That's a good question. Tim, what is that?
I mean, I don't deal with it. I think Johnny Daniels does some stuff, doesn't he?
He does, and his group brought breakfast biscuits and water and soda and stuff down there before the last several veterans events. And then you also have the ladies from the American Legion ladies that go in there and have the reception inside after.
Mhm. Okay.
And he does monthly food boxes also.
We do need the food boxes, y'all, because that is vital importance. Because as I said, a lot of our veterans are not getting protein, they're not getting full meals.
Do they have access to the helping hands?
Some of them do, but some of them are so,
I mean,
Probably
there's a
they won't go
mechanism,
there
well,
and,
there's a
you know.
mechanism there though.
Right.
I mean, there's a mechanism to help.
and I told them that. I told them
Betsy
that.
just saying Johnny Daniels from Dillon Herald, he does that as well. His group does that, doesn't he?
Yeah, they do. They do like a monthly food
But a
box.
lot of them are too proud to go to places like that because they're service members and they just don't. I've talked to a lot of them about that.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other citizens?
Okay, I know y'all have been beaten to death with bad news. I'm gonna have a little bit more, and then I'm gonna have some good news, so bear with me, okay? All right, first up, I wanna speak as a business owner of GG's and Docks on 209 East Main. I put a lot of money into my business, the one that looks good and the one that is now torn down, to make them that way, okay? I am feeling a little salty because the way that our downtown looks, there are at least 3 of us in here, 4 of us that own businesses that spend a lot of money on our buildings. It is not fair to us for other people that own multiple properties on Main Street and within the city that are not willing to keep up their buildings to a adequate standard. It's not fair for them to bring us down. And it's bringing the whole, not just our properties, it's bringing the whole city down. And I implore the council to come up with some solution to do something about that. I don't know what that is, because as I work through DCA, I know it is difficult as well. But I just want to say it's not fair how things are going now. So, and life is not always fair, but you know, we have got to get this city under control. Okay, so that brings our property values down. The condemned buildings, we've all discussed that many times in here. It's only going to take us tearing down one to get the ball rolling, and people are going to open their eyes and say the city really means what they say when they condemn this building, that if I don't get it fixed, they're going to tear it down. So that, or either people need to be willing to sell it or fix it up or whatever. Now I'm going to speak as the DCA person. I can tell you we had grant money that we tried to hand out to people on Main Street that own buildings that desperately need a facade overhaul. We have a maximum of $3,000 that we could give them. We offered them that. We were told it will cost me $15,000 to fix my building. It's not worth it to me to take your $3,000 and apply it to my $15,000. That is just ludicrous as a building owner. I mean, that's just so unfair. And we need to come up with something within our city that prevents people from holding us hostage, because they're holding me hostage with the property values on my property when they have that mentality. It's not fair. If you have a business or a building on Main Street, you need to be responsible for keeping it up to a certain standard. And if you can't, then you need to get rid of it. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, on to the good news. We had this first Friday at the Fountain last Friday. We had an excellent turnout for our first time. The weather was a little iffy, but it turned out really nice. The band was great. We had a great crowd, and it was, how do I want to say? We had a great crowd from all walks of life, young, old, all kind of people there. We even brought in people from Robeson County, I know, because my daughter-in-law knew them. So we are doing what we're supposed to with the funds that we receive from the accommodation tax, because that's what actually put that on, bringing people in from out of the county. We will continue to have, we probably had an easy 150 people there, Glenn, what did you say?
Somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, and I mean, it was nice. You know, nothing got out of hand. Everybody had a good time. We'll continue to do that in June and July on the first Fridays as well. And then depending on how far we can stretch our funds with sponsorships and things, and how it's going to compete with the Friday night football here, we would like to continue to do them into the fall. But I do appreciate the city and the council for getting us that accommodations money. I'd love to, I saw several people out there. I'd love to see y'all all stop by at the event, because it was a whole lot of fun. And if y'all have any recommendations, any concerns or anything that you want to see, we want to get to the point where we pair the kind of music with the type of food that we have there, so it becomes a cultural experience as well. But we're learning all of this as we go. So
turkey legs good anytime you use it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try to get some turkey legs in the future. I've already been contacted about the funnel cake, so we'll have that under control. But our president, Steve Johnson, also would like to speak.
Not quite sure what Stephanie just said, go ahead, keep going. But the first part of what she said, I really echoed. I own 3 buildings, 4, I think, downtown, right by any of them, and if they're not near immaculate, let me know, because they're gonna be. But Stephanie's right, we spend money, she spent a ton of money down here on her building, and we're investing in the city of Dillon. It's not fair to us to have a building next door or 3 doors down that looks like a third world building. It's just, and it's 2021, people. That's crazy. It's crazy that we have that there and that we just let it go. I don't know what the answer is, but there is an answer. You got to put it, if any of you had somebody right now beside your houses, I know where I live, and this house is just falling to the ground, you don't know if there's raccoons in it or whatever, you wouldn't put up with that. There's no way you would. You would make sure that the city took care of that. We're only just asking for the same thing downtown with that. So that wasn't what I was going to speak on, but she started, she should have done that. What I want to speak on is part of DCA. We are a 9-member board. 7 of our 9 members own businesses downtown. 1 works in a business downtown, the other one's in education. So we're not just on a Dillon Community Alliance board. We are involved as you can get, with any city, much less downtown. But because of that, we're small business owners. We have to work all day long, and 4 or 5 hours a day as well. So for us to plan like the first Fridays and to work with business owners downtown, to get our downtown, I think all of y'all want to see our downtown prosper, look good. Otherwise, you wouldn't be living here in Dillon. You'd move somewhere else. You want your kids and your grandkids to stay here and grow up just like me. For that to happen, we really got to get tough on some things. There's no sense in me owning 3 buildings downtown and they're looking great, and somebody else owning 3 buildings and they're looking like crap. And I'll just be honest with you, I'm saying that as nice as I can say it. So what we need for Dillon Community Alliance is some financial help. We would like to hire a part-time director that can focus on not just events, but working on building owners downtown. We would like to, I guess, have y'all give us funds for that, which we would like to hire that person. Take that burden off of Glenn, I guess, instead of that person working for the city, that would actually work for us. Now, we got 12,000?
12.5 for
The hospitality?
The hospitality.
Now, we don't want to touch that. This is on top of that, because we're going to use that money. It's already pretty much
Right.
spoken for, just on
And
bands.
it's more.
Yeah, so that money's already gone, and we just got it. So we're asking for, on top of that money, each year to hire a part-time director. Leave it up to y'all. How much
Kind of money you talking about?
I knew that was going to be the question. I was going to kind of leave that to y'all, but we're thinking 20 to 25,000. If you pay somebody $20 an hour, and you can go. Actually, my wife told me last night she had a foster child.
45,000.
Yeah, it was $20,000 a year, 20,800, I think, if they work 20 hours a week. Which is what we don't really need anybody full time right now. It's not a full time job. We actually have somebody in mind. We've actually talked to somebody that's doing this right now in a nearby city that might be interested in doing it for us, and they turned that city around. You see it all the time. It's on Facebook. We have somebody in mind, and if that person doesn't work out, we would like to hire our own director, just to take that out of the burden off. Now, Glenn, y'all decided y'all would rather have it as a city employee, just give it that, we take that too, but we'll leave that part of y'all. So that's what we're asking for in this year's budget, because we know you're getting ready to talk about the budget, so we'd like to have that in the budget if possible. Please.
What happened with, we used to have that girl,
We're asking probably for about half of that.
I'd like to see the city going a different route. And we hire our own self-help, be it an event coordinator, grant coordinator / whatever you want to be. and they may be partner to help the community alliance.
Can I speak to that? The only issue that I have with that is, and it's not because I'm on DCA, but it's because I also worked with that director that we had last time, and we tried that program. The thing that I've learned from doing this, I spend a lot of hours studying and looking up information. It's time consuming, and I do that because I want to do this the best that I can. Glenn would have to, or someone would have to manage that person if y'all hired them as a city employee. And without truly knowing exactly all the things that are involved, that's kind of hard because, you know, they could be sitting over at their desk doing something, but they might not be getting the things accomplished that they need to. That's why I think it's a better option. If the city hires the employee and wants to have it as a budget item, that may be okay, but I really think that person needs to be under the supervision and the direction of DCA because we know exactly what that person needs to be doing, grant-wise, Main Street program-wise, business-wise to help our business, and we can kind of, you know, make sure that that happens. Glenn doesn't have time to make sure that that happens. He has too many other things going on. And we could do it cheaper.
We probably won't get this resolved tonight.
No.
I just wanted to bring it up because we know you're talking budget, so we just wanted to at least discuss it in your budget talks, and, you know, if I guess if you need anything from us, you can contact us, so I just want y'all to think about that. All right. We really need it. Thank y'all.
All right, any other citizens report? Okay, no old business, new business, ordinance number 21-07, new title 7, chapter 1, section 713 of the city code ordinance in order to change expiration of business license date from May 31st to April 30th of each year. First reading, is there a reason for that?
Yes. South Carolina General Assembly voted last year that they were going to standardize the business license process throughout the state. Prior to this being mandated, each city had its own way of doing things. Deadlines or expiration dates may be different in Dillon compared to Florence, compared to Venice, compared to Darlington, and so forth. So
Just now they're standardizing.
they're standardizing some things, and one of the first things that they're doing is making sure everybody's ending date is the same thing. Since we have people who may have a business here or a business in another community, but having all that the same. So that's what this will be. Ours is pretty simple because we're a month. Ours is usually May 31st. This will now begin this coming year, April 3rd.
Can I get a motion?
Make a motion.
Second? All those in favor? Resolution number 08-21, acquire certain property from Twin Lakes Enterprise LLC.
All right, this is, last month I spoke to you about golf course. Mr. Robert Johnson and Twin Lakes Enterprise LLC wanted to donate the golf course to the city, which only includes what we have today, which is the golf course, pro shop, and the car shed.
Is there some discussion on this?
Oh, yeah.
Needs to be a motion, then discussion.
And the ponds, I'm sorry.
I second.
All right, discussion.
Yes, I just want to get some information cleared up or some understanding. As far as the value of the golf course, what is the value of the golf course? Do we know?
I don't.
Okay. Property taxes. Would the city have to pay property
We
taxes?
we were exempt from paying property taxes while we had it now, we could be exempt.
how about in the resolution, can you put where you want to see so much money put into the golf course per year? You want to see a certain amount of money.
That would be y'all's council to determine that. The resolution that's being presented is to.
About
accept
land, it doesn't have
donation
anything to do with that. Up and down vote for
When you get a donation for real estate like that, you don't have to go first reading, second reading, nothing like that.
Now, if we were selling the property, we would receive a donation, we don't have to do it.
And, I guess you can sell the property anytime.
Yeah. As of right now, based on the resolution, what is.
And it'll be deeded to the city of Dillon.
Yeah. The only thing again that we would not own
Oh, I understand.
is the swimming pool and what I call the country club deal.
And the parking lot would be.
Parking lot
use.
neutral.
Right.
But to answer your question, in 2 years from now or 6 months from now, the city decides to sell the limit, sell it.
I mean, because they talk about the uptown, I mean, we're taking a lot of money throwing out the golf course. I mean, every councilman's got the numbers in front of them.
any other discussion. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. All right, resolution number 09-21, authorizing submission of application to the South Carolina Water and Quality Revolving Fund Authority. What are we doing there?
All right, if you remember, probably a year ago, when we left, the Fed gave the State Department of Commerce, which fell under the State Revolving Fund Loan Program, X number of millions of dollars to do some things that would help mitigate flooding. And in this case, Hillside Drive lift station, which we talked about previous times, qualifies for this money to do this project. This would be getting $1 million loan over a 20-year period with 1% interest over that 20 years, where we'd spend $100,000 in interest on this loan over a 20-year period.
Just the grants to do that.
No, sir. Because see, that's not a grant, doesn't fall under the low moderate income area. Hillside Drive, so you don't get grants like that for this. This would be it would be an actual loan at 1% over a 20-year period. This is just giving the city authorization to submit an application for this.
This is a lift station.
Yeah, Hillside Drive lift station and that sewer main that runs from the high school back to Hillside Drive.
That's the one that has had such problems.
When we get a flood of rain, all that, yeah.
So, long run, we're gonna save some.
Again, you're looking at a 20-year note through SRF at an interest rate of 1%. Over 20 years, you're gonna end up spending $100,000 on the interest plus $1 million payback, which is $55,000 annual payment.
All right, gonna get a motion.
I mean,
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 10-21, authorizing the purchase of a drone for the police department through community facility grant funds.
All right, this is a grant through the United States Department of Agriculture that Chief David Lane applied for probably a year ago. USDA will pay $17,000 towards this project of buying a drone for the police department. of 31,000, and then the city has to furnish the other 14,000 for this project.
Where you taking the money out of?
Come out of the road fund.
Does the training come along with it?
Training is part of that 31,000, am I correct, Dave? Of five officers?
You already picked your officers, is that where they're going, Colonel?
I asked who wanted to go, and I only had 5 that wanted to go.
Need a motion?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Resolution number 11-21, safe workplace.
Yeah, this is just an annual, or every time we have a general election, a resolution doing that we are committed to a safe workplace.
Make a motion that we.
Okay. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, and the last resolution number 12-21, adopting the personnel handbook.
Again, something we have to do each year after a general election. The only thing that's changed prior to, or from the previous handbook, we had to change some wording in health benefits, where we had a longer and more detailed information with health benefits, because we were self-funded. Now that we're through PIVA, it just lists that PIVA is our health insurance provider, and we follow their guidelines.
All right, can I get a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion, I'd like to ask a question.
Okay. Second.
I'll second.
All right, go ahead.
So if the employee don't lose their vacation time anymore, we should be paying for the vacation time?
No.
Okay, so,
The only thing that changed on that 2 years ago was we increased vacation from 240 to 280.
so when they get a 288, Janet notifies the department head, and that 8 hours, they're getting ready to lose. Are they able to get compensated for that, or, so they're losing time? So how can we do a better job of letting the employee know that they're getting ready to lose their 8 hours?
They see it on their stuff every week. It's printed out and they're saying on there every week.
If you get, let's just say you max out at 280, and payroll was turned in tomorrow for the past week, and you're at 288 come Thursday morning, you have a year from that date.
It's on the anniversary.
On their anniversary
On the
day?
anniversary
Okay.
day, and if it falls in that week, it takes it that week. But they know prior to that, they know when they started work for the city, and they know, they look at their hours.
Are you seeing it a lot in your departments? Are they losing their time?
Not a lot.
Not a lot of them, no.
The department head more so than anybody, yeah.
The other question I have is, does the employee have the opportunity, instead of them taking like 40 hours, and they get at that plateau, can they get paid and still, get a vacation check, but not take the time off?
Say that again?
Can get paid for their time instead of taking it off.
Right.
The 40 hours. If they don't want to take their 40 hours.
Only those that department heads don't want to do that. Because they earn comp time, so we let them do that. Salary, hourly employees, and get the overtime, so they don't have that option.
Motion second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, Johnny, Councilmember.
I don't have anything I've lost. Well, I have one thing, the being smart plan, are we going to do anything as far as,
Yes, I'm glad, I meant to bring that up. In 2 or 3 months ago, I brought up to council about you at the time to appoint a committee.
okay,
And then you suggested we could smart, I think, wait till after the elections, and I forgot all about that, so we'll bring that back to you. Unless that's something you want to do now. I would ask that somebody from the Community Alliance Group be a part of that, just so that you have input from those folks as well.
Why don't you put down what you think, where the members should come from? And,
So I think 3 of council and.
3 of council,
Yeah.
1 of that, and then you, okay. All right. Anybody interested in doing that? I don't know how many meetings that would do. I mean, I'd be willing to serve on that. I don't have tons of time, but, you know.
I'll do it too.
I do it for you.
Okay, all right, so we got a group. Okay. Thank you.
And then, you know, it's Stephanie Red or whoever, and then we'll schedule some dates here. Probably in June, maybe, before your first meeting.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. Jeff?
I just wanted to, thank Betsy with the paper for the article we put in concerning dogs. It was very informative, and it started a lot of buzz in the community. I've had a few calls. I hope something good comes out of it. I feel like it would. I don't know if you've had any comments, but
We get them, we get a text, we get a text about once a day. And it was good that Betsy put something in the paper and we did some things on Facebook. But since you bring it up, you know, we can't do much. I don't know how much control we got, somebody letting their dog out of, you know, coming off their property. Once we find out, we try to go to the house and say, hey, you know, been told your dog is on or off the property. Now, if we see them off the property, that's a different story, but, you know, we're trying to address the best we could. And with that being said, we still have a vacancy in animal control. We've yet to find anybody, we've never had anybody to apply in the last few months for that position.
Benny Jeremiah told me that they were calling about this vicious dog. It was vicious. So he decided to go right in and check on the dog. The dog was laying on the front porch on Sunday. He got out, the dog stood up. Here she took him. Ran right past him. Without finding the dog, brought him, dropped it at his feet. She walked to play. It was a vicious dog.
well, anyway, I just want to thank you, Betsy, for that. I know Ms. Snyder's already left. I mean, I guess the veterans need all the help they can get, especially from us and the community. I feel like that what you said was well received. I just want to mention, I still ride around the community, especially District 5, just like others do. And I'm just hoping that people in our community will stand up and try to clean up their property. It is dirty. There's a lot of, you go from one house to another, one will look really great, go to the next one looks terrible. I don't know what the answers are, but I'm hoping that some of us speak about it, and maybe some people will take pride in their property. I mean, that's the only thing we can do. But that's all I have done. I appreciate it.
You said that long cut and working had to go through it, and how they got nobody to do it anymore. Can you hire individual contractors cutting lots of stuff like Ryan and Son and all the other lots over here?
Yeah, we can contract that out.
Why don't we got to hire them?
I mean, the cost is gonna be more, that we basically pay up front, and then we get money back from the property. We can look at it.
And business, well, let's be doing on Main Street, they already think of being right.
Yes.
So what they waiting to do?
Well, again, I'm not gonna go out and spend $40,000, tear down the building without your approval. I brought it back to y'all a year ago and asked you, and y'all never gave me the rate.
The one behind the three buildings that we have, that was condemned in 2018.
If y'all tell me to go out and do it, I'll do it, but last time we spent some talk, you know, we still got that one on Hampton Street that we tore down 2 years ago that we got any money back.
Let's see, that's, with the other things, put it on, that thing we talking about and make fences, or take the property.
Well, one, we can't take the property, two, it was put on the tax, as a tax lien. They didn't pay their taxes. It was sold at the tax sale. No, it was up for sale at the tax sale. Nobody bought it because somebody wanted to spend the $40,000 for what they owe us for that property.
Since it's already owed us, why we get take control of the property for it?
Because legally, we can't do that. Now, once it turns over to the Forfeit Land Commission, which is made up of 3 people, I think, from Dillon County, the treasurer, the assessor, and maybe the auditor. They determine what to do with that property they made, and I talked to them about them giving it back to us since we have that $40,000 lien. All we get is property. We're not getting money back, but at least we're getting the property, because nobody's going to buy it for that. And that goes back to, and I've had this conversation with the Community Alliance. Love to tear them down. Again, there's 2 or 3 on Main Street that could run us upwards to $80,000 to $100,000. How are we going to pay for it? And not knowing that we ever going to get our money back.
So in the meantime, there just ain't nothing we can do about it.
Not really. Not really. But then again, I'm not your legal counsel, so I can't answer that.
Well, the driving force has to be downtown is worth something.
That's correct.
And right now, it is very hard to make that safe. And, how we make that worth something. I mean, we put money in those buildings.
Well, and Stephanie brought up a while ago about the facade grant. And I don't remember the amount of money, but I think we budgeted $24,000. We may have given out $4,000.
Right.
In
10 months. So, again, people
probably
to do
could
it.
take outside money when it, comes down to it. Somebody's got to see the opportunity of doing something. All downtowns, and it's not everybody, but, a lot of downtowns are outside. And I know Florence has worked on theirs, but, it's just.
I mean, there's people that buy this property right now, they're,
Had no intention of doing it, though.
well,
You got one, there's no top on that. Trees was growing.
if they trade hands, obviously, if they're buying it, they have a purpose for it. I'm talking about a new person. But if a person that's owned the property for 25 or 30
And they're not
years.
willing to sell it.
Well, that concerns me.
Well, I mean, but there's nothing you and I, as the government, we can't make somebody sell their property. We can't do that.
We
Well,
can't
these
set a
buildings are
standard, we can't set a standard that
Yeah,
they
these
have
buildings
to
are
bring it up
connected.
to, and then if they don't do it within a certain period of time,
Do what in a certain period of time?
get it up to code.
Well, we have that in place, but the bottom line is, if you don't bring it up to code, you either gonna tear it down or we're gonna tear it down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the penalty, am I correct, Kenny?
Yes, that's one of them.
We don't have any rights legally from buildings connected from building to building to building. If the shape that one's in over another. If one building is about to fall down and it brings the other 2 buildings into nonconformity to that one, we have no rights to that, right, Jack?
I mean, that would be a civil thing. But the only thing we would do is, if one is in bad shape, we condemn it.
Well, it looks like we could have some type of ordinance in place. Since all these could build buildings here, what are connected? I mean, it just, it boggles my mind.
We can have all the ordinances and laws you want. Bottom line is, can we afford to enforce it, i.e. tearing down? That's your call.
But what I'm saying is you have a common wall. Just like I own a building, the next wall to the next building, we have a common wall between each other. So I'm connected to their property. even though I own my own property, I still have a common wall. Now, a person ought to have